So this morning we are here at Pre Rup Temple, and Kathy will tell us a bit more about that in a minute. I just love the leaning tower to one side there. When you come around a bend, you see this tower and you think, my goodness, one day is that going to fall down? But opposite the temple, as normal, you'll have the sellers wanting to sell their first scarf of the day, or when you come back you buy some coconut to drink. It's a hard living for these guys, and at the moment in the low season, not many customers. Anyway, let's go and have a look at Pre Rup Temple.
Here we are inside Pre Rup Temple. And we're competing with some drills and sanders working with the restoration. Let's walk down through here and get a closer look at the leaning tower of Pre Rup. Pre Rup was built by Rajendra Varman II, and it is his state temple. It came to power in an interesting way. His predecessor was Harshavarman II, and he only ruled for about 4 years. Rajendra Varman was both his uncle and his cousin, and he took control off Harshavarman II, and he moved the capital, which was then in Kokur, moved the capital back here to Angkor. You see there's quite a narrow walkway here between the tier of the pyramid, that's the wall there on the left, and there's front towers. And there's the leaning tower. Just go down here to the corner and you can see some other buildings. Rajendra Varman II ruled for 24 years. And he did a lot of work on reorganising the spiritual rituals.
Walking around at ground level, those beautiful big towers. A couple of times we've been here, there have been workers strapped to ropes right up the top of these towers here, cutting the vegetation. If you look closely you can see that there is some vegetation growing again, and they need to get rid of that so that it doesn't destroy the temple.
This is walking along the south side of this Pre Rup Temple. We've come in from the east. So this is the south entrance to the Pre Rup Temple. There's a pyramid-like tower up in there. King Rajendra Varman ruled from 944 to 968. He was succeeded by his son, who was only 10 years old at the time. He ruled for 30 years. His son was Jayavarman V. So between the two of them, they had more than half a century of fairly stable rule. And Rajendravarman II organised the religious rituals, and Jayavarman V was renowned for all the scholarly works and having a lot of advisors, Buddhist advisors, even though he himself was Hindu. Coming along here, we're coming into the shade here, which is quite a relief. That sun's quite warm this morning. And this is the west entrance. So you can see the towers up there that represent Mount Meru. And the steps coming down. There's some buildings, and then the West Gopura. You can see some sandstone here and some laterite. And then the tower is built of brick. These are the steps. There's a building, probably not a library here. We're on the west side of the temple. The worn lintel over the doorway of the West Gopura. And looking south, another building that mirrors the one on the other side, and that is the road in the background there, the road back to Siem Reap. And we come back here, looking up into the temple with the sun.
Well, we're going to go up to the top level. We won't film us going up to the top. It's going to be a bit of a hard slog. As you can see, these steps are quite steep. So we'll take our time and we'll see you up at the top. Getting our breath back, this is just up to the first level. Lots of little towers on the outside. As we look down to the couple of walls below, let's go up to the next level. Next level up, and we see here a couple of big lions guarding the entrance on a sandstone base. We look down again at the walls and the small towers on the last level. But importantly, there's a difference, a change here. We've got the laterite rocks up to this point, and then it changes into sandstone. The sandstone used in this temple is known as grey sandstone, and it's not as durable as much of the sandstone used in other temples. So this temple was prone to a lot more erosion than some of the other temples, as you can see here. And these have already been restored. Up at the top level, there were planned to be 6 towers, there's only 5. Have a look down where we came from. I suffer from a bit of vertigo, so this certainly was a bit of a feat to get up here. But we're at the top now and it's looking pretty good. Let's have a look around. Just one of the corner towers. This door is open as it's facing to the east, which is the tradition. And usually the doors, at least the ones facing to the east, will have some human form beside it as a guard. See here, you can see the long sword under his right arm. And the one on the other side. And if we walk around to the side, the other three sides will have false doors. Such as here. This is a restored door, and it's already subjected itself to a little bit of erosion. Another one of the corner towers up the top. There's an elephant there in the middle of the carving. Someone riding the elephant. There's the characters each side guarding the entrance. Restored door frame and restored column. And just a quick sticky nose inside. Some form of altar. Let's have a look up at the roof. The main central tower temple, inaccessible at the moment, but you can see it's guarded by lions in various states of restoration, and the figures up beside the doors guarding the door entrances, even here on this one, the false door. Let's just step around to the east facing door. Again, no entry at the moment. That's the east facing door. I don't know if you can see it, but above the doorway in the bricks there are lots of holes. This temple, built by the same king that built East Mebon Temple, where there were lots of holes in the brickwork, was so that they could attach stucco or plaster to the outside of the building. So even though we see it here in its lovely sandstone colours, it would have had some rendering back in its time. This image guarding the east doorway appears to have 3 heads and has 4 arms. Can you see? Whereas this female image on the false door side has 1 head and 2 arms. Looking out towards the east, the front of the temple, we can't see too much because the sun's rather bright this time of the day. There's the outer wall, and those trees there, back in its time, this was the East Mebon, so a very large water storage area. On a clear day, apparently you can see Coolan Mountain and Nom Bok, but today it's a little bit hazy, so we can only just barely in the distance see the outline of those hills, mountains. So all this vegetation wasn't here back when the temple was built. It was surrounded, as most were, by water. Down below, this rectangular shape for many years was believed to have been a cremation pit. But more recently, the historians believe that it was a base holding a very big statue of Nandi the bull. Let's go and have a look. At least they've built some wooden steps over the bricks. A bit rickety though, but see you down the bottom.
Here are the steps on the north side of Pre Rup Temple. You can see the bricks at the top, the large laterite stones building the foundations and the support of this pyramid inner part of the temple. Some sandstone carved, and here we're in the North Kapura, made of bricks, and you can see how they overlap to build that archway above the doorway. As we come through here, again you see all the building materials, but you can also see that the walls have moved, they're out of alignment, and there are some supports down there, wooden supports holding things in place. This building here has lost its roof and its sandstone lintels and the door frames and the window frames still standing. And even though we're turning to look into the sun here, there are the front towers and another building that over the more than 1,000 years has crumbled and fallen away.
No idea what or why, but this is a rather unique little building. Looks like a little bus shelter. We don't think they had buses back then. As we said from above, this rectangular thing was believed to have been a bit of a cremation pit at some point, but more likely to be a foundation platform for the bull Nandi. Back up to the top of the temple where we were just before. So in wrapping up, Pre Rup Temple, nice temple, little tower on the outside leaning over, 15-metre climb up to the top level. Not a bad little place to come and visit for half an hour or so.